Hi, hello, happy Saturday. Well, it is the happy day. Well, actually it was happy yesterday, but it was a bit late for me to put out a video. My friend in America has got the missing parcel. Yay! It's turned up. I think she says she's going to call on the travelling sweaters. You know, it's been like all around the world, and I can't find my lady. It's been everywhere. It's like, I've been everywhere, man. Thank goodness it has got there. I was getting so worried. It kind of isn't the cost, it's the time and the effort and everything that you put in to crocheting all these cardigans, you know. I mean, if you're a crafter, well, obviously you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching me, would you? But if you're a crafter, you know how much of your life and yourself that you put into everything you make. And we have now got a helicopter going over. Oh joy. I would have made the video earlier, but I was waiting for the Amazon man coming. And you know, they give you a rough time slot, like 7 AM to 7 PM, you know. So you kind of have to be around, and then they narrow it down to 2:15 to 5:15, you know. So anyway, he's been. He come with a big pile of boxes, and I'm like, what have I been ordering? And he goes, well, it's too easy, isn't it, to click, click, click when it gets delivered. And I thought, yeah. So I'm unwrapping them thinking, did I order that? Did I really order that? Obviously, yes I did, yeah. Anyway, cheers. It's tomato juice, by the way. Hardly any shops stock tomato juice. I don't know why. I mean, I love to drink, you know, vodka and tomato juice when I have a drink. This isn't, by the way. So I won't be going off on you. It's just tomato juice. But I love tomato juice. And apparently it's good for you in certain, you know, not to glug it forever, but certain amount is good for you. This is probably more than a certain amount, but I don't care anymore. I'm thirsty because I had bacon for my breakfast. Bacon always makes me really thirsty. Well, I did manage. That was the sleeve I'd done, and I said to you I've got to copy it. So I've copied it as far as the stitch marker while I was watching the telly last night. So there's a hope, a hope, I said, that it may get finished for the weekend. But I did actually go in the shed, yes I did, because I was looking for a pattern. Didn't find the pattern I was looking for, but I did find other patterns. And I also found some sari silk, and I thought, oh, yes, I've had that for years. I thought maybe I'll make something with it. Well, I've tried crocheting it, it didn't work, it's very rough. And I tried knitting with it, and I've done one row, and then the Amazon man come. But the knitting was slightly better than the crochet, although I must admit I was trying my Knit Pro needles out. Now, whether it's because they're new and they have a coating on them, but my sari silk just wasn't going along the needle. It was like, Everybody else loves them, so maybe I should polish them or something before I start to use them, because I haven't used them since I got them. So, oh, go away, helicopter. It's either a helicopter or one of them little gnat planes, I call them, you know, like little annoying gnats. We're quite close to an airport where they fly at the weekends. These rich business people, you know, who have their own little planes. They fly them all around here, yeah. Oh, I've got a dark mark. I don't want to get the bleach out just yet. Because I'm going away in August and I want to leave it as, you know, at least till the end of July before I have to dip my head again. You know, because my hair's falling out, it's dropping out. You may have noticed I've got less and less and less hair. So, you know, bleaching it doesn't help, but, you know, can always resort to a wig, although I've seen the ones from Temu when I won't be having one from there. They look like nylon weird efforts, yeah. You know, they look dead realistic, like, not. Yeah, there used to be a shop in Manchester that sold these non-realistic wigs. If I really want one of those, I can go when I go to Manchester in August, I can get a non-realistic one. And then you'll all know I'm wearing a wig. I really am thirsty. It's that bacon. My son accidentally bought smoked bacon. I will eat it in desperation, but it's not my favourite, yeah. I was watching Tracy crochet rocks as usual, and she was talking about not being able to walk. She's got problems with her feet. I mean, I go to a pedicure. I have a pedicure, yeah. You know, can't really afford it, but it's lovely to have your feet pampered, isn't it? You know, pampered, and they put cream on it, and then they rub all the hard skin off, and then they put you in like little baggies, you know, and leave you there for a few minutes while everything soaks in. And your feet do feel lovely when you come back out. So it's a luxury, but hey ho, you know. I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, well, hardly ever. And I don't play bingo or anything like that, you know. And I don't go out to the cinema or anywhere, so you have to spend your money on yourself somehow, don't you? So that's my pamper myself, is having a little pedicure. Can't do a manicure because I've got no nails. And I've only ever had, oh no, I tell a lie, I've had 2 facials. I had one facial just before I got married, so that was 1968. And then I had another facial when we went to the spa in near Skipton with my niece. I had a facial, yeah. It was funny because she did the facial and she also oiled my hair. And we were going straight out to go and look round Skipton, so I felt as though, you know, I had really greasy, awful hair. And I kept saying to my niece, does it really look that bad? And she kept saying, it does a bit, yeah. But I didn't have time to have a shower, wash my hair, before we went out to Skipton, if you know what I mean. Because we were going home later that day, or I think the following morning. Oh boy, am I ever thirsty. I'll be on water after this because I can't have any more tomato juice. I might be sending me whatever up the wall. My levels, you know. Because it's Saturday and I always have, you know, potato chips, crisps and some chocolate or sweets or something when I'm doing my live, yeah. So I have to be good for most of the day today, you know, not eat anything really naughty. I've only had a bacon sandwich. I haven't had anything else today, except the tomato juice just now. And I may make my tea a little earlier, because I tend to only eat twice in a day. My diabetes nurse goes mad. She said you should eat little and often and stuff like that. Anyway, I was talking to Tracy, as I said before. We were discussing feet, well, via text messages. And she was saying her husband had said, oh, are you angling for a scooter? And she'd said she'd been for a ride once on her late mother-in-law's scooter. And it set off down the drive with her backwards and she hit the hedge. So she said it's put her off a bit since then. And I said, well, I've got a funny story. I went into the shop Iceland that does the frozen food. And I had a little scooter at the time so I could take it into the store. So I took it into the store. And I gets to where you pay and you put everything in your bag, in your basket. And as I leaned over to pay the lady, my sleeve got caught on the accelerator lever. And I shot forward, hit the wall like that, fell on the floor. And they rush in. Do you want an ambulance? I said, no, just pick me up, just pick me up. I said, I'm fine, I'm fine. I was so embarrassed. I said, are you sure? Are you sure? You need to sign the accident book because if anything's happened to you, I'm going, I'm fine, I'm fine. Just let me pay for my frozen food and please just let me go, yeah? I mean, I was covered in bruises the following day and I really walloped the head. But as they say, you know, no sense, no feeling, you know. I always go backwards when I bang my head. I banged it quite a few times, so, you know, it's no wonder if I go a bit every now and again, you know. I think I've walloped my brains once too often. Yeah, as I say, I went in the shed, but I wasn't in the mood for tidying it up. I don't know what's wrong with me. I cannot get in that oomph mood, you know. Right, go in there, Janet. Go in there, tidy up, do something. Instead of which, I was just reaching patterns out of this big, massive box I've got. They're all jumbled up. There's knitting, crocheting, there's babies, there's ladies, and I couldn't find the one I wanted. I didn't get to the bottom of the pile, I must admit. I just got fed up halfway through. You start off with a will and a way, don't you? Then halfway through you go, do I really want to do this? No, I don't, you know. So then I grabbed that bag of sari silk that's been kind of on my mind for ages, thinking I'll do something with it. But don't get too excited because it's rough and it's not, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't even use it up like to do bags or anything because it's just so hard to knit or crochet with. So I don't know what I will do with it. And no doubt I will find a use for it. I swapped to a pair of plastic needles now, so I may be better. Maybe it was the Knit Pro needles that were putting me off. But, as I say, everybody loves the Knit Pro needles. You know, the zing. But mine are just like stiff. I think they need a bit of like furniture polish or something. Lumber polish. I know bamboo needles are like that. I mean, I had bamboo hooks at one time and they were a bit snaggy. And a lady said, run them through your hair. You know, the grease, the oil in your hair. And I used to do it with knitting needles, you know. I'd be at a knit club and people said, what on earth are you doing, Janet? Rubbing your knitting needle through your hair. And they said, it's gone a bit snaggy. And it did work, actually. They did, you know, be a lot smoother. It's a bit more hard with the crochet hook, because if you go like that, you like hook your hair. You have to sort of do it the other way around, which defeats the object, because you want the hook to be slidey, don't you, and not the handle bit. Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know. It's been raining. Not been a very nice day. I did go out and plug the little folding scooter up just in case I had to nip to the shop. But as he's not coming to do my big scooter till Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. I mean, I have some dresses on eBay. I've got bids on some, not all, but some. But people do tend to leave it until the last minute and then they gallop a bid in. I think they're hoping that nobody else will bid on it so they can have it for the smallest amount. Yeah. But I won't be able to take them to the post office until I get my scooter done. So thankfully I think they give you about 2 or 3 days, you know. They do send you a reminder saying you've got sales, you need to post them off. But, you know, they give you a couple of days before you get reminded you have not posted this off yet. But I've been answering queries, you know. My daughter-in-law said to me, just put the size of the dress. Put size 3X or 22 or 24. Just put that. That should be enough. Huh. How long is it? How wide is it? What does it measure around the waist? What does it measure around the bust? I even got one. How many hooks are on the bra? Yeah. 3, as you can see by the photograph. But I didn't tell her that. I wasn't rude. I just said there's 3. But I did do a photograph that showed the back quite plainly. It had 3 hooks on it, so go figure. Never mind. It never enters my head unless I see a pattern and it says a crochet pattern and I look and I say, I'm you know, send a message to the lady and say, excuse me, but do you realise that's knitted? Yeah. Because if other people aren't as sort of au fait with things, they may buy it thinking it is crochet, you know, and then get upset with the lady. So ma'am, whatever. It's usually a lady who's selling crochet patterns. So I usually, that's the only time I ever really message anybody. I'll just say, excuse me for telling you, but do you realise it's a knitting pattern? I'm always very polite. I'm a very polite lady. Most of the time. Yeah, I do get a few rude messages sometimes, you know, but I ignore them. I usually delete and block, yeah. And of course I get the obvious ones, you know, hey gorgeous, hey darling, you're looking beautiful, you know, all of those, which you just don't bother to answer because, you know, hey ho, I'm looking at my face every day in the mirror and I know that a 25-year-old man, if he was, I mean they use fake pictures, don't they? But if it was a 25-year-old man, he would not be finding a 77-year-old woman attractive. Especially one with no money, you know. And I was like, oh my giddy and thunder. Oh, the rolling thunder. They did say on my news thing there'd be thunderstorms in Manchester. But I'm in Creekwood. So why are you coming over here, mate? Stay in Manchester. I don't like them. My ex-husband used to laugh at me, he used to get hysterical, saying, oh, give up, stop being such a big baby. You know, I'd be like, oh, under anything I could find, or shut the curtains, or close the door, or, you know. And he's going, oh, you're being such a baby. I mean, my dad tried hard, really hard to get me not to be afraid of them. And I was okay while I was sat with him. I mean, I'm talking like 3, 4 years old. While I was sat on his knee, watching the rain, you know, out through the... He used to open the back door. And the stairs were right next to the back door. So we used to sit on the bottom stair. And he used to sit me on his knee and he used to talk to me and show me the rain and say, isn't it, you know, nice and all this. And every time it thundered and lightened, he'd have an explanation, you know, the clouds are banging together. Or somebody striking a match, you know, for the lightning in it. But of course, once I grew up and my dad was no longer there, I was still scared. The worst of it is if you're in your car. Oh my goodness me. Or one time I was in the clough, that's like a little woodland area with the dog. I had Buster at the time. And it just went, you know, they do crack really loud. And I was like, ah. Then I spooked the dog, of course, because I let out one yell. And then I was like, and then there's a guy walking past saying, don't stand under the tree, love, that's where the lightning might strike you. You better get home as quick as you can. Because by the time we got home, the rain was bouncing down. The dog was dripping wet through. I was wet through, soaked. Right through to your underwear, you know, that kind of rain, right through. So I had to go and get changed, and the dog's standing there like, ah. Fortunately, the dog loved the hairdryer. So I towelled him off, and then I didn't bother about my wet hair, but I blew the dog dry with the hairdryer, and he's preening himself. He absolutely loved that hairdryer. He wanted me to dry his hair when he wasn't even wet. You know, when I was drying my own hair, he was like, and I had to dry his hair even though he wasn't wet. And he loved the hoover. You know, the suction, the extension, the suction. Because he shed a lot, you know. He was a boxer cross with a staffy, but he shed a lot. He was gold coloured. And he actually loved the hoover. And people used to say, you hoover the dog. And I said, oh yeah, he loves it. He loves the hoover. And, you know, sort of weirdo dog. Most dogs, our two, run a mile. When Trish puts the hoover on, they run a mile. They go anywhere, any room that the hoover isn't, is where they are. They do not like the hoover at all. And it's not like she tries to hoover them or anything, she's just hoovering the carpet. But they don't like it. And they hate the carpet washing machine, even worse, yeah. Because like having 2 dogs and, you know, little Miss Tiddlebum, my daughter-in-law has to clean the carpet quite a bit, you know, otherwise, as she says, it's good to get up and walk out on its own if we don't keep cleaning it, yeah. So she's normally got the vax thing out, you know, cleaning it, giving it a good clean. Oh dear, and they hate that even more than the Hoover. They're like, gone. Oh, I've still got the runny eyes. My eyes are terrible. When I get up in the morning I can't see anything. I'm getting bombarded with text messages and letters and things from Specsavers because I'm overdue. But I'm waiting till I've had my diabetic eye test. I think it's either the 18th or the 20th, I can't remember. I've got my CPAP machine check on one day, which I may have to change because it's actually on a Tuesday. And I think that's on a Tuesday and there's nobody in. And I usually look after the dogs. So I think I'm going to phone up and rearrange that. Because if I can't get a lift, it's going to be about £20 there, £20 back in a taxi. I mean, I'm not being begrudging it, but yeah, I am. Also, I'm bothered about leaving the dogs on their own for such a long time. We leave them on their own for an hour or maybe two. But you know what it's like if you go to the hospital. Sometimes you're in and out and you've barely been there. And other times you're in there and they've forgotten about you, you know. You're like last in the queue, last in the line. Orthopaedics at Salford Royal used to be the worst. You'd go in and it'd be chalked on the whiteboard. There's a 2-hour waiting list. And you think, oh, I always used to take the crochet. I always took the crochet. And then she'd come out and she'd have a little thing and she'd be rubbing it down. And she'd write a 3-hour wait list. So when it was a 3-hour wait list, you knew for a fact you'd be there for about 4 hours. And everybody's shuffling in the seats and that. And I'm thinking, if you come to orthopaedics for an appointment regularly, bring a book. You know, if you don't, obviously not men don't crochet much. You know, just bring something to do, you know. It's especially worse if you bring your kids because they start fidgeting, they start getting naughty, they're all over the place. And I know not everybody has the luxury of leaving them with grandma, auntie, you know, whatever, but, you know, if there is an option, please take it because the kids just get so bored. So bored. The eye department at Blackpool Vic is a bit like that. I think they should have a separate department for the children. Because I was there not the other week, I was there about 12 months back. And there was 2 children with, you know, issues, like one was Downs and one obviously had ADHD. You can't expect them to sit still and behave. And most of the other people that were waiting in the chairs were elderly. Well, I'm elderly, but it doesn't bother me as much. But some people, when they're really, really old, it does bother them. When the kids are bouncing about and screaming and screeching, you know. And I'm thinking, why don't you have a separate room for the children? Or why don't you have them on a separate, you know, day, time, whatever? Because you cannot expect a child to stay still that long, especially one with special needs, yeah. Oh boy, it is hammering down with rain. But the thunder seems to have passed, thank goodness. I don't mind the rain. Don't mind the rain at all. I'm in the conservatory, you see, so that it does sound a lot more rainy, if that's the word, in here. I mean, the roof's not flat, but it's like slanted and tiled, and it's a single story, so of course you get the rain. I mean, when this at first behind me was my bedroom when we first moved in, because my bedroom over there, I didn't move into it because I wanted fitted wardrobes fitted. So there was no sense in, and this one actually had a carpet in. Wasn't a great carpet, but he did have a carpet in. So I temporarily camped in there. So this was the garden where I'm sitting now. This was the garden. So these patio doors, like, are not very good. They're all right as indoor doors, but they weren't that good as outdoor doors. And I used to lie there and the rain used to be battering. And I used to think, oh, why have I moved here? Why have I moved? I don't like it, don't like it. And even when I moved into the other bedroom, that way, and I had my fitted wardrobes and that and carpet by then, I was still like open to the outside, you know. You had to sort of make sure you locked it, or you couldn't leave it open and go out in case it rained, yeah. Whereas now my bedroom, I step out of my bedroom into the conservatory now. I would like, I'm sorry I didn't have a window put in the bedroom. You know, just, I could have had a long narrow one put above the bed, like underneath the cupboards, and there's a gap. I've got overhead cupboards over the bed, and there's a gap of about that much where I could have had a narrow window. So I think I would have liked that, you know, a bit of fresh air. Because even if I open my, you know, conservatory doors or whatever, unless the windows are open in the conservatory, then I don't get any drap coming through. Oh, here we go again. Thunder. It can't be that close, can it? Because there's been such a long time between the last bit of thunder, and I haven't seen any lightning. Mind you, I'm not looking, but I haven't seen any lightning. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I think it's time to make my meal. Oh, hello. Thought it was funny that nobody had sent me a message. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to go and make my meal. I might have an early tea because I've not had any lunch. So maybe an early tea. And I'm so glad I went to the shed that it wasn't raining. I mean, I would have got a little bit wet on my way. It's not so much going, it's when you have to unlock the door, and the lock's got a little bit rusty, you know, being close to the sea, everything goes rusty. So sometimes it doesn't open first time, and especially when you're trying to close it, you know. And I don't know where the umbrella is. I've got one somewhere, but I think it's in the backpack that belongs to the other scooter, which is, my son's tidied up the garage, which means I can't find anything. Yeah. So, you know. Anyway, thanks for keeping me company and listening to my good news. The parcel's arrived. So, I shall speak to you later. If you come on my live at 9 o'clock UK time, I shall see you then. So, oh, just before I go, I'll show you what I'm wearing. Everybody likes to know what I'm wearing for some reason. Ooh, I shall walk away, Renee. There you go. It's got, showing the bra straps now. And it's full length. There you go. Too long actually. But that's what I'm wearing today. With this very, very ancient cardigan, which everybody loves. And it was made with Serdar silky look, which has been defunct for many, many, many moons. And it was a Serdar pattern, which I think I've still seen on Etsy. Although it's one of the, you know, the patterns I look for on a regular basis in the shed and can't find. So I could probably copy it if I looked at it close enough. And my poor little buttons have gone pale, you know, with constant washing. They look blue now on camera. They were the same colour as the sweater. Anyway, I really am going now, so see you later. Bye.